He was surrounded by men who wanted him dead. So he chose the one person in the world he could trust with his life, his best friend. His best friend put his head on a spike and rode through the city with it. This is what a friend will do to you. Let me show you why, and what you should do instead. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical. But hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend, because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. This book has 48 laws. The second is the most dangerous of all, because you will never see it coming. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. You will resist this. You will say, "Not my friends. Mine are different. Mine would never." That is exactly what Michael thought. That is what every man thinks the day before he dies. So before you decide who to trust, the partner you started a business with, the friend you're about to hire, the one who knows what you earn and what you owe, the man chasing the same woman you are, the cousin offering to handle your land. Let me show you what trust costs.
As soon as Michael assumed the throne, he got his mother arrested and her lover removed, all with the help of his uncle, Bardas, a man of intelligence and loyalty, but soon realized he was surrounded by wicked and power-hungry evil schemers. To get someone he trusted, he chose his friend, Basilius, a horse trainer who saved Michael's life, soon made head of stables, higher education, numerous gifts, riches all came to him for being his good friend, and now made the chief counselor without any experience. Michael taught him, doubled and tripled his salary, gave him his most beautiful mistress, and the position of his uncle, who was now made the head of army. Basilius started poisoning Michael against his uncle, saying he was too ambitious, controls the whole army, is plotting to take Michael's throne, and soon surrounded him and stabbed him. Now, Basilius wanted to be the head of army too, so that he can quell rebellion for Michael. This was granted. Basilius's power and influence only grew in the army, as well as Senate. But later, when Michael asked him to pay back his loans, Basilius refused. The same night, Michael found himself surrounded by guards, stabbed by the man he brought into his life. Next day, Basilius rode his horse through street, with his best friend's head on spike, and crowned himself the new king.
The man you raise from nothing will not thank you. He will resent the height he had to climb, and he will measure your kindness as proof you can be conquered. Mark this. Your generosity is not building loyalty. It is building a witness. But Michael was not the first man to learn this. Africa told it as a children's story long before Byzantium ever bled.
A snake was chased by a hunter. It asked a farmer for kindness and hid inside his stomach. But when the hunter was gone, it won't come out. So the farmer asked a heron for help. The heron removed the snake from the farmer's stomach, but eating a heron would cure the poison. So he captured the heron and took it home. His wife, listening to his story, she felt he must be grateful for the heron's help. But when she was releasing the heron, it scrapes her face on its way out.
This is what gratitude looks like. The thing you saved will sink its teeth into you on the way out. There is an old African proverb. When you see water flowing uphill, it means someone is repaying a kindness. And in India, the wise men told it sharper still.
The Brahmin boy and the prince grew up together. But when the prince became king, he didn't recognize him. The Brahmin had mastered the Vedas and trained as a great archer. He walked into the palace and offered his services for free. He cried out, "Recognize me, old friend." The king answered with contempt, No pauper befriends the rich. No fool befriends the wise. No coward befriends the brave. Friendship exists only between equals. An old friend. Who needs him?
Friendship cannot survive a difference in power. The moment one of you rises, the friendship is already dead. The other man simply hasn't told you yet. 3 stories. 3 men destroyed by the people they trusted most. You have been watching like it is theater. It is not theater. Think of the colleague who congratulates you when you are promoted and never quite looks you in the eye after. The friend who knows your every weakness because you told him over wine. The cousin who borrowed money and now resents you for not forgetting. These are not enemies. That is the point. Enemies you can see coming. The man who will hurt you is sitting at your dinner table. He is in the group chat. He has your password. I am not telling you to be cruel. I am telling you to be awake. Now, you have seen what your friends will do to you. Let me show you what your enemies can do for you.
Listen, there was once a king who learned the truth about himself from the man who hated him most.
His biggest enemy told him that his breath stank. King Hiero became stressed, but did not believe him. So as soon as he got home, he asked his wife if he had bad breath, and why did she never told him? To this, she replied that she thought all men's breath must smell bad. That is when he realized that he can learn more from his enemies than his friends.
Your friends will watch you walk into the room with bad breath and a worse decision. They will say nothing. Your enemy, he was waiting to tell you. The truth lives in the mouth of the man who has nothing to lose by saying it. What King Hiero learned in his own house, one man would understand on the scale of nations.
In 1937, Japan attacked China during the Chinese Civil War between the communists and nationalists. Some communist leaders advocated that they leave the nationalists to fight the Japanese, while they should recover their strength. But Mao disagreed and believed that if they slow down, they would become rusty, and fighting with Japanese is the training they need. So, they fought. But when the Japanese finally left, communists used the fighting experience they had gained to defeat the nationalists. Years later, Japanese tried to apologize to Mao. Instead, Mao thanked him, saying, "Without a worthy opponent, a man or a group cannot grow stronger."
A man without enemies grows soft. He stops sharpening himself. The enemy at your heel is not a curse. He is the reason you become someone worth fearing. Centuries later, when a man planned to betray his king, he needed a partner he could trust completely. He did not choose his best friend, but
in 1807, Talleyrand decided to betray Napoleon. But he needed a partner he could trust, so he chose the man who once tried to have him assassinated. Joseph Fouché ran Napoleon's secret police. He was Talleyrand's most hated enemy. Talleyrand walked straight to him and offered his hand. Old hatred made the reconciliation feel real. Fouché expected nothing, so he would work to prove himself. Their bond would rest on mutual self-interest, never poisoned by feeling. Although the conspiracy failed to topple Napoleon, the union of 2 enemies spread doubt across France. It was the first crack in Napoleon's empire, one that would eventually bring his downfall.
the hatred between 2 men can be steadier than the love between 2 lovers. Hatred is honest. It declares itself. Friendship can be a costume, and you will not know it until the man takes it off. But the man who mastered this law sat on a throne in 10th century China. Every king before him had been murdered by his own commanders, so he did something different.
As soon as Emperor Sung was crowned, he started studying the pattern of the deaths of the kings. Every king before him was murdered by the commanders of the army. So, he devised a plan. He threw a banquet to celebrate the new dynasty and invited all the powerful commanders. At the end, he dismissed everyone except the commanders. He addressed them, saying he knew all of them dream of ascending to throne. Fearing for their lives, they begged for mercy. But the king offered them houses, girls, and money, and asked them for their commands instead. They thought the king is offering them nobility instead of unaliving them, and gave up their commands. In one stroke, the king removed all the friendly wolves from his kingdom. But his plan was not over. He gave a high rank to his biggest rebel, invited him to his palace, and offered him wine. The rebel refused the wine and started crying, saying that his crime against the king deserved death. But he begged for your majesty's mercy. The king took the wine and drank himself. There was no poison. Thus, Liu became his most trusted and loyal subject.
The men who fear you will serve you better than the men who love you. Fear is steady. Love changes with the weather. A man who owes you his life will not betray you. A man who shared your wine will. 300 years of peace from one cup of wine. And in our own century, yes, in your lifetime, one man built his entire career on this principle.
In 1971, a group of Catholics tried to kidnap Henry Kissinger. The plan failed, but Kissinger invited them for breakfast. He didn't report them. Instead, he shared his secret plan. The plan was to pull American soldiers out of Vietnam by 1972. They were charmed and gave him gifts. One of them even remained his friend for years. This wasn't a one-time trick. Kissinger preferred the company of his enemies over his friends. Disarm the people who hate you. They will defend you harder than the ones who love you.
Disarm the men who hate you. Sit with them. Let them speak. They will defend you harder than the ones who love you, because they have something to prove. The loved ones have nothing.
8 stories. 2 halves of the same law. Here is what you must take with you when you close this video. The man at your side is not your friend or your enemy. He is a human being, full of envy, full of fear, full of needs he cannot speak aloud. But there is one thing higher than all of this, higher than using friends carefully, higher than turning enemies into allies.
At the height of America's bloodiest war, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech. He called the Southerners fellow human beings who were in error. An old woman got furious. She shouted that they were enemies who must be destroyed. But Lincoln answered her with a question. "Why, madam, do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?"
Mark this. The highest power is not to defeat your enemies. It is to make them no longer want to be your enemies. The question is never, do I like him? The question is, what does he want? What does he fear? And is he good at what he does? Choose people for what they can do, not for how they make you feel. Watch what they do when no one is watching. And when an enemy offers his hand, do not be too proud to take it. A friend you trust blindly is a knife you handed to a stranger. An enemy you understand is a sword that fights for you. Now, go look at the people in your life. Look at them the way I have taught you to look, and tell me what you see.